Please join me. We gather this hour as people of faith, with joys and sorrows, gifts and needs. We like to speak in hope, sign of our trust for truth and meaning, and celebration of the life we share together.
So, one of the wonderful things about being married is that you get to know someone over a longer period of time. And I've known my husband Marcus now for 6 years almost, and we've been together for 5.5. And in this whole time, I thought I knew him pretty well. But he genuinely surprised me yesterday. We were talking about childhood toys that we played with, and he talked about playing with Legos. Have any of you ever played with Legos? Yeah. And now, when you build things with Legos, how do you do it? I think that there's different ways, right? No right way, no wrong way, I would argue, in Legos. No right way, no wrong way. Do any kind of thing. But so I was talking with my husband about building with Legos, and he said to me, well, I was the kind of kid who, when you got a new Lego set, you pulled out the instructions, you organized each of the pieces by category, and you followed the step-by-step instructions to build what was on the picture of the box. Now, I'm sitting here stunned. Because it never occurred to me that there were instructions for how to build what the picture of the box was in your Lego kit. I don't think I ever picked up the instructions in my Lego kit, and I built many fantastical things just from my own creativity. So this month we're talking about creativity, and clearly there's a creative process that each of us have that's different. And I don't think you can say that Marcus's process of following instructions is even less creative than mine. Just a different type of creativity, a different type of discipline, a different type of art form. So this morning, I'm so glad to be here with you all, no matter how you build your Legos. It is good to be together.
Now is the time in our service when we turn within for a period of meditation and reflection, followed by a shared silence. So find a comfortable position in your chair, both feet on the ground, and allow your shoulders to fall away from your neck. Relax your stomach, your eyes, and forehead. And now bring your awareness to your breath. Your in-breath, your out-breath. This past year, I've been a member of a Wellspring group at First U, exploring and supporting various spiritual practices. Last week, a member of the group told how a friend of hers had written little gems of wisdom on pieces of paper, a little like Chinese fortune cookie papers, only bigger. And her friend invited those there to choose one and take it with them. The paper my friend selected was a quote by Baba Ram Dass. "The quieter you become, the more you can hear." The quieter you become, the more you can hear. I've been pondering this gem, and it reminds me of one of my favorite prayers, the first line of Psalm 46, "Be still and know that I am God." I invite you now to repeat after me. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know. Be still. Be. May we remember the words of the beloved Saint Francis of Assisi. The one you are looking for is the one who is looking. Namaste. So be it.
According to the Kabbalah, the mystical teachings of Judaism, the world was born in this way. In the beginning of things, the holy, all of the holy was held in great vessels, which contained a powerful and precious light. And, as is explained, this is a Jewish story, so there was an accident with the vessels, and they broke. So the holy scattered throughout the universe. It broke into countless sparks itself, and these sparks are to be found in each and every one of us, and in each and everything. The Kabbalah teaches that we encounter the holy as these sparks in moments when we often don't expect it. For this reason, Remen writes, Jewish traditions, particularly for the Orthodox Jewish people, have thousands of things as a part of their religious practice. Because what should you do when you encounter the holy but offer a blessing? Remen grew up in an Orthodox Jewish community in New York City, and it was her grandfather who taught her how to say many blessings. In the Orthodox tradition, there are blessings for almost everything. Blessings for when you greet something that you have not known before, blessings when there's a beginning, a blessing for an ending, a blessing for all kinds of experiences, not just for meals, but to be said when you wash your hands, when you see the sun rise or set, when something is lost or when something else is found. Blessings are found throughout modern, unorthodox lives, even in unexpected places. The other day, I was grocery shopping, and in the Wegmans aisle, there was a whole line of greeting cards called spiritual blessings. They said things like namaste, a word in Sanskrit which has become almost part of our own English language. The divine within me acknowledges the divine within you. And now you can buy that on a Hallmark greeting card. Sometimes, I think as Danielle was speaking during the Joys and Concerns, this is a shared feeling, that the world is just really in a rough spot right now. With political gridlock and another terrorist attack in the headlines this week, it is so hard to believe that there really are sparks of blessings everywhere. It would have been easier sometimes, I think, to be born in a different era, some other time, when there was not such an intense fear and terror that seemed to run amok in our world. But when I look back into history, I cannot find this particularly better time. When I look closer, it does not seem that there has ever been a moment really where war was ceased, where there was no hunger or fear was not part of the world. And I think that is why we come together in community, because you have to lift up the holy sparks, or otherwise they will go unnoticed. You will not see them. Both Buddhism and the wisdom of Native American traditions speak to the experience of being born in this time. The Buddhist concept of a bodhisattva is one who so loves the world that they return after death to this fleeting, temporal, fragile world to be here with the suffering and the beauty of this time and place. So you have already attained the state of enlightenment, and the bodhisattva makes the choice to come back again to this world, to be with the suffering that is here. This concept spoke to me deeply, this idea of choosing to be with suffering even when you don't have to be. It seems to be the choice that whatever design, intelligence, or possible fluke caused our births here, there was some piece of blessing in it. The teachers who I learned from in seminary would often quote a particular Native American teaching. It said, "It is a blessing to be born at this time." The words come from one in particular who spoke during a protest at Occupy Oakland several years ago. The words, "We have an opportunity to make a great leap in our understanding and in our consciousness. This is not an opportunity for just individuals, but it is an opportunity for the whole. It is this tremendous responsibility we have to the next generations. We have the choice to be bodhisattvas, to be with the suffering and to acknowledge the light and that which is holy." The ancestors say to you, it is a blessing to be born at this time. It is a blessing to be born at this time, even with all the tears, even with all the tears. Of course, when we encounter the holy, it may not look like what we are expecting. And I think this is actually nowhere more evident than when interacting with our beloved family members. Because those people who we love and trust and feel connected to so often don't act and behave in the ways we would like them to. Words from Khalil Gibran. "Your children are not your own children. They are the sons and daughters of life's longing for itself. They come through you, but not from you. And though they are with you, they do not belong to you. You give them your love, but not their thoughts, for they have their own thoughts. You may house their bodies, but not their souls, for their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow, which you cannot visit, not even in your dreams." Spending time with young people, and in particular, I think oftentimes teenagers, is the spiritual practice of recognizing that we may find the holy or a divine spark in a place we aren't expecting it. Several years ago, I worked for an organization in Portland called the Story Project, and they worked to give kids extra credit in school for telling their personal stories. It was kind of like an oral English lesson for many students who were struggling with reading and writing aspects, but it was trying to help them graduate. And my instructor in this curriculum was a wonderful teacher named Hanif. And Hanif told me that I basically had one job as the teacher of this curriculum, and that was to listen for longer than I thought I could. He said, "Listen for longer than you think you can to these kids." So that was basically the one instruction I had when I went into my first one-on-one conversation. And I remember sitting down and sitting across from a young man, and I said, "So, I'm here today to listen to you." And I smiled really big, and he just looked at the floor. And I said, "Why don't you tell me your story?" And he just looked at the floor. And I said, "Well, you could start with the day you were born." And he said, "I don't remember the day I was born." And I rolled my eyes, because teenagers, right? So I knew I had to be persistent. So I said, "Okay, well, what do you remember hearing about that day?" He's like, "I don't know, nothing. Never told me anything." And he turned his body in his chair, shifting away from me. And obviously, this wasn't going to be an easy start. Well, I said, "What's the first memory that you have? Like, what sticks out about being little?" "They put me in detention in kindergarten." "Wow," I said, "a kindergartner in detention?" "Yeah, no one ever wanted me around. But I wasn't a bad kid. I still know that deep down, but people still don't really want me around." I got very quiet, because I had a sense he probably hadn't actually said that sentence aloud, and that no one had heard it. And I remembered Hanif's words, "Listen for longer than you think you can." So I stayed quiet. And he started to talk. He talked about the kindergarten teacher who put him in detention, about the other kids and how it felt to be singled out, and how that happened in first grade and second grade and third grade and fourth grade and fifth grade and on and on. After a while, he said, "Yes, I'm done." And I stayed quiet. And sure enough, he had a little bit more to say. At the end, I had a sense of knowing someone in a way I had not known someone before. I had a sense that trust had been opened to me in this incredible way, and that I was truly the one who had been blessed. I had seen the holy. I had found it in an unexpected place. I had been given a incredible gift. When we listen, when we are truly present to another, it is this incredible gift. And it's this priceless opportunity that happens every single moment. Every single moment is another moment to listen a little bit longer than you thought you could. So I offer this to you now for the next family gathering you attend. Pick a relative who maybe you've struggled to connect with, and give yourself a task. Listen for longer than you think you can. Let me know what happens. Maybe start in the beginning. Say, what do they remember about their birth? Or what have they heard about their birth? Or what's the first thing that they can remember? Let us create a world where each person has had a moment to be heard for a long, long time, so that they can find within perhaps a shattered piece of light that is touched in holiness, that is held by another, that is our blessing for the world. The ancestors say to you, it is a blessing to be born at this time. It is a blessing to be born at this time. So I wanted to sing with you all a song that was particularly meaningful for me in high school. I learned it at a Unitarian Universalist conference. It's called I Know This Rose Will Open. And it may be familiar. It's kind of a meditative hymn. So Bill's going to just play the music once through, and then we're going to sing it a few times. And I invite you to just stay seated. You can close your eyes if you want to. Just let it sink in.
I know this rose will open. I know
So the longer I do this work of ministry, the more apparent it is to me that people need very simple things. There's very little that we actually need. And yet, if we don't get those basic things, nourishment for the body, for the soul, and for the heart, we don't thrive. And yet, I am so glad to be a part of a community really here in Canandaigua that has found a way to keep it simple and to thrive. So as Marcus and I have been in this process of transitioning, we have thought a lot about what is good and what is the blessing here. And that really has been what has come forward for me, that I just want to lift up, is that there are simple connections and simple ways to do deep and good work that are happening in this place. And it has been a blessing to witness all of this. Amen. Let us sing. Well, let us reflect and then let us sing. Join me. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the fire of commitment, the fire of community, warmth of community, fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Blessed be. Amen.
Join us for worship every Sunday at 10 a.m. at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Canandaigua, a welcoming congregation. We are located at 3024 Cooley Road, 4 miles west of South Main Street, Canandaigua, just north of the intersection with Routes 5 and 20. Look for the blue signs just before the turn. Your comments about this program or questions about the church are welcome at 585-396-1370 or at our website, www.canandaiguauu.org. Producer and editor, Daniel Brigham.